why don't you start off, Silver? What have you been seeing these past couple months, or the past couple weeks?
Well, we could do like an overview last couple of months. So state of chain would be during the down pressure. We went into a cycle where there were no real buyers actually in the system at all. It was all just traders trading among themselves, winding it down. You had the original, stakers cashing out along the way, driving the price down. Traders, washing between themselves. Some win, some lose. Pretty much like a casino. Majority of people would always lose. Now we got to a stage where there would be certain players who had quite large amounts. We obviously had quite a lot of FUD come through as well at the same time, and SEC type news events, certain things which just impacted the market, and I assume created a lot of panic inside of some of the very big wallets, because when you have a lot of HEX, you're presented with a problem, because even if you have paper value, you still cannot extract that value based on liquidity. And a lot of people talk about liquidity, but it's a real factor inside of smallish coins. And I wouldn't say HEX is small, but we got to a point where it's quite hard to exit, millions of dollars. So they got to a pinch, and it comes to a point where it's like, you got two fat guys trying to run towards the door. Well, only one of you can get out. So, one of them will decide, you know what, I'm going to take what's on the table, because you don't know if the other guy is going to do the same thing. So that is what creates a pinch and a push down to the value that you get. And potentially the other guy isn't even interested, right, of actually cashing out. He's just, going to hold on. So that's what happened. We hit down to like 1.8, 1.7, 1.5, depending on what, chart you're looking at, whatever. Tremendous buy-in came in down there, pushed it up. So let's fast forward to where we are now. We punched through, we got up to about the 3 cent range. So immediately the big selling account that sold 150 million is now left with about 50 million left liquid. He literally marked the bottom. And a lot of people are pulling that out and laughing about him, all this sort of thing. Yeah. So this is fantastic, because this creates dilution and distribution. And that's what you want, because we don't want people that don't believe in the system being in the system. We want them out. We want them out as soon as possible and at as lowest price as possible, so they have very little impact on the market, because that's easily absorbed by the majority of buyers. As you can see on Axis's chart right now, that sideways action coming out of there, that is distribution, dilution of that entire balance. And a lot of that will have been absorbed, because as soon as there's a quick wick down, that is quickly snapped up by eager opportunity. And they generally are happy with, say, a 20-30% flip on what their investment is, and they're out. So equally, a lot of them get washed out in the process as well, because all they're going to do is regurgitate the values into ultimately what is going to be the long-term holder. So what we started to see, if you come through to early February, is that big breakout. So that big breakout actually resulted in moving up the price of about 3 cents. And during that phase, that is again what would many traders class as like a blow off top, overexposure, risk, take profits off the table. But what we understand inside of HEX is this thing is like one of the most monstrous, energy consuming vehicles out there, which does not give a damn about 20, 30, 100, 2x, 5x, 10x moves. This thing is like parabolic when it starts to move, when it changes trend direction, not to mention the decorrelation that it actually can have inside of the market, which is Yeah, which has been, stated many times. Wales pulls this out quite a lot as well.
Mhm.
And this is this is
This is
exactly
actually
it.
falling. This was actually at 8% this morning. Now it's 7%.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this thing, it just basically, it has no respect for the market. It's like, it's a
100%.
brutal, it's a force you cannot, are we allowed to swear inside this? I don't know. Can I say
Yeah,
something?
go ahead, man.
We
Yes.
have adult ears here.
Yeah, this thing don't fuck around. When it starts to move, it fucking rips, and that is exactly what HEX does. And it also, it's a knock-on effect into the the other solid coins that we talk about inside of the ecosystem that us three we respect a lot. It transitions through, so the power move that occurs, it's just mind blowing.
Mhm.
So we go back to the previous chart where we just talked about the February breakout. Yeah, this one. So we had a pull up, we had a flush out again, and this can you can see exactly what's going on chain, and this is why chain is no disrespect to any TA aspects, but it gives you the preliminary aspect of what exactly is taking place, who the players are, what the transitions are between accounts. Are they heavily dollar backed? Do they have more momentum? Are they focused? Are they just looking to swing trade? What exactly is the mentality of the account? So we can see, and I there's probably about there's two major accounts that come to mind during this breakout, and the first one would be the account. Let me just pull it up, which would be 0x1D. So there are people out there who are talking about this account at the moment, and there's some people call it also 7BB. Depends if you call the front or you call the back of the address name. And they actually started to buy, and I did this inside of the Tangent Twitter Spaces. Probably about a couple of hours ago. So I actually laid this out exactly what took place, because I thought, okay, put this data out relevant. I don't always like to try to reveal what players might be up to. I'll just leave it to speculation. But maybe inside of our Discord or inside of private chats, I'll give a bit more information. But today you're going to get exactly what is going on live as of right now, from what I can see, and obviously what Axis can see and what Sloth can see. So this particular account had probably about 3.6, 3.8 million USD. It fluctuates because they're playing the market. They're trying to do certain moves. So they bought in down in this range, down at about 3.3. I think they bought about 3.5 or 3.6% HEX as well. And they basically sent it all the way up to about 4. And then there was a bit of a sideways action that took place. And they continued to send it up. However, there was a wobble, and there was a few accounts which started to sell big. And I need to pull this up just so I can see what numbers we're looking at here. I believe it was about 4.5 cents. So they basically created both candles, the low one and the high one. Came in with a lot of firepower. And this is like, very strange, because this is just one account, and yet we have 100 sharks. We got well, can't include the whales, but we've got dolphins, we've got all these things. But this is just basically one large player created this. So where the hell is everybody else? Are they just selling? This is something I was considering as a risk factor before I even want to speak, because I don't want to put out any information and say, okay, guys, buy, because obviously you can't give financial advice. But because of the liquidity situation, because it's so thin, it doesn't take literally anyone. It's like, a few $1 million is enough to make this thing fly. And with the continuation, which you can see, the rallying in behind, people, fearing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So long story, we get to about the 4.2 range,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe 4.3, 4.4. And then suddenly this guy or lady, whoever it may be, decides to create a liquidity wall. And this is inside of, again, I apologies, I cannot remember the name, but I retweeted it. The guy nailed it on the video. Exactly what was depicted inside
Sami.
that video
Yeah,
is exactly
Sami.
what happened.
Your friend Sami.